Alright guys, there are plenty of characters in the game. We have them all unlocked at their base unlocks, so no gear, no equipment, no nothing applied to them, just where you get them when you unlock them. We are going to talk about every single character in the game and compare their stats so that you know which characters you should be excited about unlocking, characters you should farm towards, and characters you should invest your time, energy, money, and all the other things that you can possibly invest into them to making them the biggest and the baddest in all of the galaxy. Alright, so referral code VAT80max. If you click on your profile, big green button says refer a friend, put that code in there. You get rewards, I get rewards. It's the best way for you guys to support me completely for free, and it makes me a very, very happy boy. So we have every single faction. We have the Ultramarines, we have the Sisters of Slaughter, or the Battle Sisters, the Sisters of Battle, the Adepta Sororitas, but I'm just going to call them the Sisters of Slaughter because they absolutely slaughter everything. Love killing stuff with AoEs. We have the Necrons, the Astra Militarum, the Black Legion, the Death Guard, the Orcs, the Black Templars, the Eldari, and then we have the Tau. And we will not be covering the fourth Tau member, and that is simply because he has been announced and leaked, and I guess not leaked, he's been talked about on videos, but I don't want to show any of his stats because I do not believe he is in the game just yet, since the Death Strider, or Dark Strider, oh my goodness, the Dark Strider was just added. So you can look at his pretty little face, but I will not be showing you any information based on him that is not already publicly available because I'm a good little boy. All right, so shout out to my good friend Nandi. I will link to his channel in the description below. I think he has 400 subscribers right now. I will cause untold, immense, and out of this universe pain to you and your loved ones if you do not get him to 1,000 subscribers at least by the end of this video. And that might be a stretch because I know people only watch my Galaxy of Heroes videos, so this video might not get any views. But if you are watching and you care, he loves infographics and kind of that PowerPoint presentation, raw data information, be the smartest in the room kind of stuff. And goofballs like myself cannot succeed without actual, real smart people to help give us the pretty pictures that we can talk and ramble and do other stupid stuff with. So big shout out to him. Go subscribe. We have movement, health, armor, expected melee damage, and expected range damage. The two offensive stats were derived from someone he did a collab with. I actually don't know them by name, but I will also, under his link in the description, put a link to their channel if they have one. Sorry for being a fake fan. I will look into them as soon as I can. It's been kind of a busy week, so I haven't been able to do as much background research on the people putting this together, but he's a data miner and a math guy, and this is the most accurate representation of the effective offensive stats of characters that exists on the internet, so this is going to be the closest to accurate. Of course, there's things like armor penetration and number of attacks and all sorts of other stuff, but this is the best that we're going to get. We have the Astra Militarum and the Ultramarines. Stats looking not great in terms of health for the Astra Militarum because they are just, normal people. Armor is looking okay. We have the big shield boy, the big Baldy, has some good armor stats there. Sybil has some great melee and range attack. She's a psyker, so she does some good psychic damage. Thaddeus does good range attack, and of course we know he has some good stats there as far as his passive is concerned. Creed, while appearing to not be that great, I think is actually a fairly decent character. But the Astra Militarum, definitely a pretty good faction, a real baseline for the humans. Good ranged, a couple of tanks, not great health, and standardized movement. As far as the Ultramarines are concerned, kind of the same thing. They have a couple of characters who excel in range, like Varro. He has his Psyker ability that does some good damage. Certus is, of course, a sniper. He has some good range. Not great health. Bellator is actually kind of funny because Bellator is a beefy boy. He usually does some good armor stuff. Clearly is not represented here, and I guess that just means he doesn't scale as well as you would like. Calgar is a beefy boy and has no range, but he hits okay. He's not the best, not the worst. Definitely a faction, two factions that, are they the best? I would say no, but definitely can get the job done in a pinch. Now we have the Black Legion, the Death Guard, we have the two Chaos factions. Abaddon, my favorite character in the game thus far, until they add a couple of cooler characters, and hopefully add the Raven Guard, because I want some stealthy boys. I want to be able to not get hit by Overwatch. I want to be able to move, snipe with the sniper, and then use an ability to go back into Overwatch. I want to have it all and be stealthy and be emo and be Ravenous. But until then, the Black Legion is going to have to do it for me. Angrax is just basically a turn 1 monster as far as teleporting around the map, but doesn't move well after that, but he's a tank. Abaddon does some good melee stats. He hits multiple times. I have an almost legendary dagger on him that crits for about 1,000, which is pretty good. Peyton Manning or Archimatos, if you want to know why I call him Peyton Manning, because Archie's son is Peyton, and it's just funny to say Peyton Manning, but that's not going to catch on except for on this channel. So Peyton Manning is probably the character you should invest the most into. He is a summoner. He's got relatively okay health, standard movement, good melee and range. He hits multiple targets. He's pretty all-around solid. Harkin has a pretty beefy melee attack. He's probably going to be my first max star character. Okay health, okay armor, good melee, good movement as well because he does have that jetpack. Volk, you would think Volk would be a beefier boy, but at 153 he's not got relatively high health, not great armor, not great melee, but he does do okay as far as range is concerned, and we know he hits multiple characters, so he's pretty solid. The Death Guard, I'm going to skip them. They're slow, they're fat, and they're hard to kill, but other than that, they're not amazing, except for Pestilent hits kind of hard. They're more tanks, and it's nice to have a tank here and there, but I'm not a huge fan of the faction. We have the Eldari and the Necrons. The Necrons are an interesting faction. Makutep and Aleph Null are two of the better free-to-play characters because you get them early and they have great synergy and they're great in PvP and they're okay in raids. Two characters you should invest into. As far as investing a ton into, I wouldn't really go that far. Thutmose has good range, but the faction's all around not amazing. The elves, the Eldari, the space sex elves, they're pretty good. They are pretty good. They're great at range, as you can see here. They all have okay range as far as the ones that have range. The two melee characters do pretty good melee stats. Health is not up there. Armor is pretty standardized. Morgan Raw is probably the coolest looking character in the game. He's kind of a beast. I wish I could unlock him. Unfortunately, I can't. I would say the Eldari are all around a pretty good faction, if I were to say so. Next, we have the Orcs and the Tau. Of course, we don't know what the 5th Tau is, and we know the name of the 4th Tau, Onshi or whatever, but we don't know much about him, and I'm not going to click on any of his stats. Great range from Shosile. I'm terrible with the names of these characters. I'm going to have to give them all nicknames at this point. Rivas is actually got an event going on right about now. Fantastic character for Overwatch. Dark Strider's got some okay stats, nothing too spectacular. As far as the Orcs are concerned, I'm kind of sad. The Orcs kind of let me down. They're terrible offensively, as you can see here. Relatively thick as far as armor, but the Orcs, I would hope, would get some sort of offensive buff because in Tournament Arena, where all stats are kind of equalized, they just don't do it. You know what I mean? They just don't get the job done, and there's no real need to use any Orc in the PvP meta, which kind of makes me sad because they're my favorite faction in 40k. And last week, we have the Black Templars and the Sisters of Slaughter. Black Templars actually have surprisingly okay stats. They're relatively thick. Average movement except for Brother Bichard. Okay melee. Decent armor. You know, I would say better than most armor. Kind of struggle in range because they're big Templar sword-wielding guys, so, you know, don't expect a lot there. But it's definitely a solid frontline faction. I hope there's one point where there's enough characters in this game where it's more than 5v5 and we have like a bigger tabletop experience where there's lots of characters going around. And I definitely think the Black Templars, at least in the current iteration of the game, would be fantastic for a frontline unit and kind of a wider battle. Maybe there's like a PvP battle where where you can go in with like your actual, like, you know, 2 or 3 of your guild mates against 2 or 3 of theirs and like some sort of live guild PvP thing. It couldn't be live PvP because, you know, guilds of 20 people would be hard to coordinate that, but, you know, maybe just allow us to use more of our roster, I think would be a pretty good idea for some game mode in the future, but I'll talk to them about that. And then the Sisters of Slaughter, they're big AoE buffs, so, you know, you're not going to see crazy single target offensive stats, but between Morbin Val and Vindicta, you're getting some good AoE. Celestine and Roswitha and Isabella are pretty solid, pretty dominant characters who are going to get a lot done for you. So I would say that all in all, that's how everything breaks down. As far as what I would say the best faction in the game is, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm going to give a hot and controversial take because Eldari are kind of looking like they're going to be good. The Tau are looking like they're going to be absolute powerhouses. I'm going to say, and this might just be my free-to-play, max out your farming mentality from Galaxy of Heroes, but I love the Black Legion. We have good health, we have good armor, we have okay offense, but more importantly, there isn't really competition for upgrade materials. Whereas the humans, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 factions that kind of require their upgrade materials. The Imperial Orbs, which are kind of hard to come by. The Xenos have 1, 2 Xenos, 3 Xenos, 4 Xenos. But the Chaos is just the Death Guard and the Black Legion, and the Death Guard are kind of trash, in my opinion. I don't know if that's a controversial take. Like, obviously, Typhus is solid. There's some good damage there, but I just love the Black Legion. Obviously, they're aesthetically pleasing, but Peyton Manning dominates. Abaddon does some good stuff against multi-hit attacks. Harkin does some big damage. We have some range and some AoEs from Volk. And we kind of have a tank in Angrax. I'm gonna say that's the best faction. It might be a hot take. Obviously, some more information will come as some more data mines come and some more people get to higher and higher tiers. But let me know what you guys think. All right, see ya.